Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast. Movie Film Podcast, enjoy the show. Zachy and Brian are talking about movies. Movie Film Podcast on the radio.
Welcome to Movie Film. This is episode 218. We are wrapping up February. My name is Zachy Hassan, and I'm here with Brian Hall.
Hey, how's it going, Zachy?
It's been 2 weeks since we last spoke.
2 weeks. That makes me think $2.
What is that from?
Better Off Dead, right?
I have no memory of that film.
John Cusack. You know what's funny, by the way? I don't really either, but I've heard people say it so much that it has gotten into my brain, my synapses.
There you go.
But it's not like I have a personal endearment to that movie. It's so weird. Anyway, I mean, it's fine. I didn't really grow up.
We're about to hear from the Better Off Dead stands.
I know. I was just thinking that. I was like, defend it.
Suddenly, a bunch of people unsubscribed. Bastards. Well, we got lots to talk about this. It's been 2 weeks, but there's been like this weird time vortex where 8 weeks worth of news has happened, or at least it feels like it.
I know.
So I figured let's just dive into it. What have you seen recently that's worth mentioning?
Well, I saw Judas and the Black Messiah, which is on HBO Max for the time being. So I guess this was one of those Warner Brothers movies.
Right.
Is my understanding. It's so weird. I don't kind of know. It's just these movies that start, there's conversations about them. They're like, yeah, it's on this one. It's on that one. It's on Netflix. So I'm like, okay. Just kind of follow the, the recommendations, and it's kind of interesting.
So this is Daniel Kaluuya and Lakeith Stanfield. This is their Get Out reunion.
Yep. And Lil Ray is in here too.
Oh, okay.
I didn't really know what it was about, but a podcast I listened to, they were kind of raving about it. And to put it quite simply, it's a true story, but it's sort of like The Departed within the Black Panther Party. So it's this true story about...
Go on.
Right? And it's a guy, I'm just going to read the IMDb because this is the easiest way to not spoil it. But it says, Bill O'Neill infiltrates the Black Panther Party per FBI agent Mitchell and J. Edgar Hoover. And as party chairman Fred Hampton ascends, falling for a fellow revolutionary en route, a battle wages for O'Neill's soul. So, yeah, it's basically this guy, just to sort of clean a record up of his, goes undercover into the Black Panther Party and gets really close to Fred Hampton, and it becomes this weird allegiance story where it's like, am I betraying a cause that's trying to help me? But, also kind of, he's got to take care of himself, and the FBI is just absolutely horrifying in this movie under J. Edgar Hoover's watch, and it was really good. Really good. Daniel Kaluuya is incredible. I'm certain he'll get nominated for this. It's just and I've seen this as a criticism about this movie, which is basically, these actors are, say, 30, if not late 20s or something, but the real life, the two leads were 21 and 17.
Okay.
So this person who's being, sort of not strung along, but being pushed a bit by the FBI. He was 17 years old. And
that's crazy.
Even in the movie, you can feel the torture he's going through. But, trying to imagine a kid. Yeah. The predicament he finds himself in and the things he's willing to do for self-preservation, but also the inner turmoil he must be feeling. And then all the things on the Fred Hampton character's shoulders, and knowing that he's 21 and he's like this master orator and starting the Rainbow Coalition, and it's a great movie. It's not something you're gonna want to just fire up any old night. Mm-hmm. It's pretty heavy, and it's a lot of these things don't end happily, right? And but it's really, I enjoyed learning a piece of history I did not know about, and I thought it was really well done. The director, Shaka King. Every now and then I get this feeling when I'm watching something, it'll be like an episode of this or some movie, and I don't really know the director, and I'll go, whoa, who's this? I'll just stop, go on IMDb, and who's directing this? And it's not showy, but he is incredibly intentional with the camera and with the focus and with all those sorts of things that you and I always kind of go gaga over.
Right.
So I was just like, this guy, I'm going to definitely be keeping an eye on this guy and looking forward to what he does next. But yeah, I would definitely recommend it. But again, not just for any old night, but it's a really well done, not a nail biter, but you're just like, oh, it wrenches you like a Donnie Brasco or The Departed or something like that.
Sure.
But the performances are fantastic. Yeah, it's really good.
Well, what else? What else have you seen?
Well, on the entire other side of the coin, perhaps on a different coin altogether, I watched Barb and Star go to Vista Del Mar.
Which, by the way, I gotta say, Judas and the Black Messiah and Barb and Star sounds like a very interesting movie.
Yes.
That should be the sequel to Barb and Star.
Well, you know what's funny? This is a movie from Kristen Wiig and Annie Mumolo, who both co-wrote Bridesmaids together. So 10 years later, they've done their next movie. And I just adore Kristen Wiig. I mean, she could, one of those people make a smirk and I'll just laugh my head off because I just find her so funny. And so a friend of mine worked on this film and he was telling me how good it was. And then when I saw the trailer, I was like, I don't know if I get it, right? Like if I remember correctly, the trailer doesn't even show them. It's just them talking in these funny voices. And it almost feels like, oh, this could be an SNL sketch stretched out to like 90 minutes. But my brother and I were like, let's do it. Let's gamble on this. And I loved this movie.
No kidding.
This movie is so funny. The trailers don't even let you know what it is, basically. Like, it just shows them being kind of quirky, and it's like, okay, they go on this resort sort of thing. The trailers do not show you what this movie is. This movie is Austin Powers meets Anchorman meets Wayne's World meets Zoolander kind of a thing.
Well, what you just said right there, that has sure intrigued me. I have a feeling a lot of people listening will feel the same way.
Yeah, and at the same time, if you're not a fan of those movies, you will not like this movie. Like, it is. I'm like so tempted to spoil certain things, but like, it would just be. I laughed to tears. I had tears in my eyes when I was laughing at this movie.
No kidding.
Yeah, and it's one of those joke a minute, really, really broad, weird, Lonely Island-esque comedy with these two leads that you just absolutely love. I mean, they're so adorable, and I really, for being such a quirky movie, or even just flat out weird, you actually like them. But you care about them. You want them to be happy. You want their friendship to be working. And I think that says a lot, frankly, for what they're doing amidst all the weirdness. I so badly just want to like spoil lines from this movie. It's one of those movies where you just start repeating it when it's over. You just start saying all the quotes from it. Yeah, I guess that's all I can say. But if you like that tone, that Lonely Island sort of, Anchorman-y sort of thing, I highly recommend this movie. I can't wait to watch it again. Like, this is a movie I know I'll watch more than once.
There we go.
So, yeah.
Wow. All right.
I can't wait for you to see it. I'm dying to know.
I got to be honest. I'm wishing you would have given me a heads up about it, because I would have, just from what you're describing, I'm like, oh man, I would have loved to have watched this before we recorded. I feel like we would have had a good conversation.
I'm happy to do it anytime. The only trick of this is one of those movies. It's been, speaking of, Judas and the Black Messiah, it's like, well, Warner's is like, we're just going to do theatrical and we're going to do HBO Max, right? Which of course requires a subscription. Yeah. But a lot of other movies are saying, you have to rent this for $20. And this was one of those $20 rentals.
That's right, yeah.
Which is, on the surface, I'm like, ugh. But then on the other hand, I think, well, I haven't been to the movies in a year, and if it's something that I'm pretty sure I want to watch, I mean, that's $4 more than what I unfortunately pay out here for a movie anyways. And I heard someone on another podcast say the only regret he had about the $20 was that he didn't get to buy it. So,
okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's a laugh riot. It's going to put you in the best mood. Yeah, I'm happy to talk about it again anytime.
All right, well, I haven't seen any recent movies, Brian, but I have seen some new TV shows.
Okay.
But I'll talk about those in just a second, because I have been kind of dipping into the into the archives a bit over the last actually like 48 hours, because I just had a lot of time, and I was like, I'm going to watch some R-rated movies with my kids. As soon as my wife leaves the house, I'm like, all right, kids, gather around, children. It's time for some blood packs and a cussin'.
Blood packs and a cussin'.
Yeah.
Wait, just real quick. I just want to say on that note, my brother and I, we finished our Die Hard trilogy, and nice. Yeah, I think it was in 3. At some point, some guy gets ripped up by bullets and blood. It's like water balloons, and we just turn to each other and we're like, 90s.
It was a magical time, I gotta say.
Yeah, 80s too, of course. 80s, 90s. Those like squibs are just insane. I revisited The Untouchables, which has ended up being one of those things that is becoming sort of like a perennial, because I've watched it before with my oldest. Mm-hmm. But he's like, I want to watch The Untouchables again, and that's cool.
And now my second one was like, oh, I'll watch it too. So we ended up watching it. And I don't know, when's the last time you've seen The Untouchables?
It's been a while. It's not one of those ones that I've seen. It hasn't like cemented itself in me.
Okay.
So it's one that I've seen maybe once or twice, and I really enjoyed, but I don't know it super well. Aside from, of course, the staircase scene.
Of course, which everybody knows. Yeah.
Yeah.
I put it out there on Twitter. I was like, man, this is like, it feels like this one doesn't get talked about as much anymore.
Right.
And somebody responded, which I think is so spot on. They're like, there was a minute there where this was everybody's favorite movie. Mm. And I'm like, that is so true. Like because I first saw it, when did I must have seen it for the first time in like 93 maybe. Mm-hmm. So it was relatively recent enough. It was recent enough, but also old enough to be, it was recent enough to be like in people's awareness, but old enough to be kind of hallowed.
Sure.
If that makes sense.
Right. Yeah.
And so, for a while it was like, oh, you got to watch The Untouchables, and you realize you watch it now, and I think it holds up really well. But I think to me what dings it a little bit is that it is just absolute historical dog shit.
Right. I do remember 5-6 years ago when I watched it, I went on Wikipedia or something, and it's just like, yeah, all of it is pretty much fictionalized.
Basically, like the historical accuracy starts at, there was a guy named Al Capone once in Chicago, and that's right. About it, Right. And that's what's very funny to me, because to me it's one of those things where I'm like, and maybe this is just like a personal preference thing, but I struggle with how far along can I go with, well, they're making a movie, they don't have to be historically accurate, before I'm kind of like, all right, I think I'm out.
Yeah, that's a good question, honestly. I mean, we've brought this up before. I think sometimes we get a little offended when they turn someone into a villain who wasn't a villain.
Right, yeah.
Particularly if they're going to use their name. And yes. Then just sort of be like, yeah, this person who actually existed, boo. And you're like, they didn't do anything.
I know.
But you just needed a villain. So that always kind of turns me off a bit, but... Yeah.
I mean, we're watching the trial at the end. You have the trial scene with the Al Capone. Mm-hmm. Spoiler alert: Al Capone went to prison. Spoiler mm-hmm. alert for actual history. And it you have essentially Elliot Ness finds out that Al Capone had a list of the jurors in the trial who had been bribed. Mm. And so basically, he's talking to the judge in the trial. So it's Elliot Ness, Al Capone's attorney, and the judge. Mm-hmm. And Elliot Ness is like, "Look, like, can I talk to you alone?" And the judge is like, he tells Capone's attorney, "All right, you go outside." And I'm like, "Are you crazy?" Like,
yeah. And the lawyer's like, "Okay,
yeah, okay, I'll just be outside. I'll be right out. Just like call me if you need me." Right. I'm like, "Okay, so that would never happen, right?"
Right.
and then they come back in, and the judge is like, all right, there's a jury that's been hearing like that other trial, just bring them in here and put this jury in there. And I'm like, yeah, but they haven't heard this trial.
Right.
Like, they don't know any, because originally all of that happened like before the trial even started. Mm-hmm. But that's less dramatic, right?
Right.
But then once that happens, and Al Capone's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And it's Robert De Niro doing an imitation of Viggo Mortensen in Green Book, as Al Capone, you know?
Right.
He's like, hey, what? He's getting mad at his attorney. So the attorney's like, Your Honor, we want to change our verdict, our plea from not guilty to guilty. At which point everybody starts, there's pandemonium in the court. Mm-hmm. And Al Capone's like, wait, what's going on? You know? And I'm like, I think you can fire your attorney, like, if he does that.
Right.
Without your permission.
Right.
Like Capone's like, no, you know. You know, and it's funny to, and my oldest, he's like, that guy's a bad lawyer.
Your child?
Yeah.
Was like, I don't think it works like this.
You know, so like right afterwards, we just by chance, just a couple days ago, Joe Blow put out this video that's like comparing the history of the actual events of The Untouchables versus the film itself.
Oh, that'd be kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, so that was fun because we just watched the movie and we put this on and it ends and my kid's just like, okay, so basically none of it is true.
Like, hey, but it was fun, right?
It was. I mean, it's you know, you have stuff in the movie. You know, there's the scene where Kevin Costner tosses the dude off the roof.
Yeah.
Right. Who is a real guy.
Right.
Who definitely did not die that way. And that type of thing is always fascinating to me. Yeah. Because I'm like, that's empirically verifiable. Mm-hmm. Right? Like we can talk about like the movie The Perfect Storm and like, okay, well, they had to make this up because they didn't know. Or, oh, what happened to the Titanic? We don't really know. It's conjecture. I'm like this. We can be like, did Elliot Ness toss a dude to his death off of a roof? Right. No, that definitely didn't happen.
Right.
That's fine.
Right.
You know, so I don't know. I like The Untouchables. I still like it. I think.
Yeah, great score, right?
Amazing score. Ennio Morricone. Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah,
I listen to that soundtrack all the time. It's great.
Yeah.
But the film, don't treat it as a historical document, is what I would say.
Right.
Yeah. Speaking of The Perfect Storm and George Clooney, another film that I revisited yesterday, and this one I have not seen since the mid-'90s, was The Peacemaker.
I've never seen it.
They should call this mid-'90s action movie.
I remember even then thinking that just felt like action movie July 1998 kind of a feeling. And it was DreamWorks' first movie, right?
It was their very first movie, yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting because it came out the same year as Batman and Robin.
Oh.
And actually a couple months later. Mm-hmm. But for some reason, I tend to affiliate it more with like when Clooney first blew up on ER.
Yeah, it's a little fuzzy in my mind. It all kind of blurs together.
I mean, I can't say it's particularly good, but it's also not necessarily bad. Like it's one of those. It's like a tweener. You know?
Yeah. And then sometimes I'm in the mood for that. I like the style of that era of action, so I see something I haven't seen.
I was pretty much like, I'm in the mood for George Clooney in a Caesar cut running down the street with a gun. That was my very specific itch that I had yesterday.
People reference the Jennifer Aniston cut still to this day, but not the Clooney cut. The Caesar cut doesn't get a lot of reference. But that was a thing.
That was most definitely a thing because it was a thing that I had. In fact, when we first met, I'm fairly certain I had a Caesar cut.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I think I did too, to some degree. Yeah.
The math in my head was, well, if I cut my hair like George Clooney, I will look exactly like George Clooney.
Right.
That was the calculus I made. It didn't pan out, but I have no regrets.
Yeah.
But it's having come off our ER rewatch, my third kid, like I was watching this with my oldest, and then my third kid comes in and he's like, "Oh, George Clooney," and he comes and sits down. I'm like,
oh, that's great.
Well, Clooney has a lifelong fan in this kid,
Yeah, your family.
Yeah, but it's weird because like I said, I don't think it's particularly good. I think it's fairly generic, but I think it is distinguished by the fact that they truly do not make theatrical movies like this anymore. Right? I mean, it just...
What do you mean?
Kind of like a mid-level espionage thriller, kind of a Clancy riff. Like, they were very common in the mid-'90s.
Yeah.
Right? Guy got away with a nuclear weapon, we gotta stop him. Like, that feels like the description of about 8 different movies.
Yeah.
Right?
Or even, these are a little different, but those John Grisham thrillers.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Between
on the run.
let me put it this way: between Tom Clancy adaptations and John Grisham adaptations, and then Tom Clancy riffs and John Grisham riffs, that accounted for about 60% of cinematic output between
So true, yeah.
between like 92 and 99.
Yep.
And so this falls within that. And so it is low risk, low reward. But I mean, I was sort of just enthused by the novelty of a movie like this, which, I mean, it's just, I'm racking my brain trying to think of something in this vein in the last 10 to 12 years.
Yeah.
It feels like this is the stuff that goes straight to streaming now.
Yeah.
But at a much lower level of production value.
You know, I don't think this is the same thing, but the first thing that came to my mind was that Ben Affleck, Oscar Isaac movie about those guys trying to recover gold in the hills or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Triple Frontier, right?
I enjoyed, actually. I think more than most people, but it still wasn't like I'm going to remember it much or, watch it again.
Right.
Yeah.
No, but I
miss that
I think this is like The Peacemaker. Last time I saw it would have to have been early '98, right? And I'm good now for the next 23 years.
Right.
Like, scratch the itch. I got it. It's done. I don't regret having watched it.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's like a lot of movies when you think about it. It's like, well, you watch it and then you move on.
And Nicole Kidman also, right?
That's right.
What was I just watching with her? It was something older. I don't know, but yeah, I don't really know her from those Days of Thunder days or the Deep. What was that called? Deep Calm or something like that.
Deep.
When she's on the boat.
Dead Calm.
And then there was sort of the middle where she was the love interest in a Batman movie and the sidekick in this Peacemaker, and then she became like Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
But so that's kind of in her middle era.
I mean, I think Clooney shot this before Batman. Even though it came out after. Okay. Because my recollection is like when they
were... a twinkle in his eye.
That's right. Because Nicole Kidman had been in Batman Forever.
Yeah.
And I believe he talked to her about hey, should I do... what was your experience like working with Joel Schumacher and how that went, right? Mm-hmm. But they released it after, which is kind of interesting. So yeah, I don't know if it's not an unabashed recommendation, but it's not a thumbs down. It's just like, Mm-hmm. It has a Hans Zimmer score, which just feels like him taking the score from The Rock and just kind of going a little this way instead of that way, but it's basically the same thing.
Yeah. 90s Zimmer.
90s Zimmer, exactly. That was a very particular flavor. Mm-hmm. And then, lastly, a thing that I revisited just this morning, mere hours ago, is The Adventures of Tintin.
Ah.
Which I cannot remember. Is that a movie you have seen?
I did.
Okay.
And if I'm being honest, the only thing I remember is that crazy chase scene.
Like in the Middle Eastern...
Yeah. And I feel like there's a motorcycle. I just remember it was nuts because he'd never had to cut.
Yes,
because it was animated, and it was just like, wow.
Yeah.
And
actually, one last piece about The Peacemaker, I will say, this is Aaron Neuwirth, who has been on our show a couple times. He said on Facebook or Twitter, he's like, there's a really cool, bomb on a bridge scene, And I was kind of paying attention for that. And indeed, there's a great scene in the movie that involves this extended action sequence on a bridge. That's at about the midway point. That's pretty much the high point, the action high point of that movie. Mm-hmm. Really well done. It's that movie is directed by Mimi Leder, and I think she's a good character director. I don't think she's necessarily well served by having to do action sequences.
Sure, she did Deep Impact. Right?
She did Deep Impact, right?
Yeah.
Which was, I think, came out a few months later.
Huh.
But Adventures of Tintin, I haven't seen it in 10 years.
Mm-hmm. Same. I mean, whenever it came out.
I saw it when it came out. I took my oldest, who was 4.
Wow.
And he hasn't seen it since. So I was like, hey, it's like we'd been sort of, they've been showing Indiana Jones movies on and off, on Paramount TV.
Yeah, I've seen
and the Paramount Channel, whatever it's called, and And I was like, I'm in the mood for like a Spielberg, Indiana Jones-esque movie that I haven't seen a million times yet. So we put it on, and what a delight this movie was.
Yeah, I should revisit that. It would be like seeing it again for the first time.
You really appreciate his skill with shooting this motion capture movie as if it is a live action movie. That's what I really like. You see the Spielbergness no matter what the format is.
Right.
And it's like Indiana Jones Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Very, right down to the John Williams score, which is just, it's indie-esque,
Man, I'm just realizing I just don't remember this at all, and it seemed almost like a gift to watch a new Spielberg adventure film with a John Williams score. I should definitely
give it another look. I'd be curious what you think of it. They were supposed to do a sequel very shortly thereafter, directed by Peter Jackson.
Right.
And that lazy bastard. No, I'm just kidding. I think the Hobbit movies kind of destroyed him a little bit. Because
now he's doing that Beatles documentary.
Yeah, man, and he just did that. They will never get old or whatever that, right?
Yeah, it's kind of steering out of the action-packed fiction.
Yeah, I feel like he wrapped up the Hobbit trilogy, and he's just been kind of curled up in the fetal position, rocking back and forth, mumbling to himself for 10 years. I hope they do eventually do a sequel. The nice thing by virtue of it being mocap is you don't have to.
Yeah.
You don't age out of it,
Now, this is written or co-written by Edgar Wright.
Yeah, Edgar Wright and Stephen Moffat.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's very English, but that's not a bad thing,
Yeah, I wasn't very familiar with Tintin. I knew he existed, but I probably haven't seen one frame of him. Like I've seen him on a T-shirt or something. Okay. But I know around the world he's way well known.
Yeah, I read the comics when I was a kid because in Saudi Arabia they were very common. So I ended, that's what's available,
Yeah.
But I'm grateful for that because I enjoyed the comics. It's very much, honestly, and I don't know if this is part of the character's lineage, but it's very much, it feels like an inspiration for Indiana Jones.
Right.
Probably, huh? I don't know if that is part of that, if you can draw the connective tissue, but certainly Spielberg directed this with more joy than I saw in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull,
Oh, interesting.
It feels like that's kind of like his last, like, crowd pleaser type movie, his non-Papa Spielberg movie that, like, notwithstanding Ready Player One, which I didn't like. Like I'm from 2011 to now. What has he done that's like a big blockbuster movie?
Yeah,
maybe right. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't think of one.
Yeah, so
I was just thinking there's going to be this like Citizen Kane movie, once he's gone, and like it's going to be about Ready Player One. Like what was Ready Player One? And they'll be in a warehouse, and we'll see for some reason that book it meant something. Like we don't know yet, but.
They came out with the sequel book, Ready Player 2. And, you hear whispers of them making a movie, and that feels like a threat to me. It feels like, give us what we want, or there's going to be a movie of Ready Player 2. That's what it feels like to me.
That's been on TV lately, and I think, I'd kind of like to see that chase again.
Sure,
the DeLorean and the dinosaurs and everything.
Yeah.
But the, I don't know what it is, the bandwidth or however that works where they beam cable into my house, it's so awful. And there's so much going on in the frame, and it's so fast that it just looks like digital garbage. And
which was the alternative title of Ready Player One, was actually
garbage. I didn't mean that as a slam against the film, but like, I just want to see that stupid scene again, and it's just like the technology can't even beam it into my house correctly. So I haven't seen it.
You're not missing much. That was a watch.
That was a first world problem, by the way.
That extremely, like, my internet.
Yeah, I know.
Can't handle Spielberg's vision for the chase sequence in Ready Player One. What kind of world are we living in?
It's like, I'm sorry, is that a film you love? Like, no.
Meanwhile, people in Texas are like,
I know.
We don't have heat or water, but we're sorry about your bandwidth for Ready Player One.
felt relevant because we were talking about it. As it was coming out of my mouth, I was like, okay.
So just to advance our timeline a little bit, I've seen something brand new. In fact, as we record this, it's not even out yet. It is the CW's brand new television series, Superman and Lois.
Lois and Clark. I was like, hasn't that title existed before? But yeah, Lois and Clark. So Superman and Lois.
They got to mix it up, right? You got to. So this is the latest entry in the Arrowverse.
Right. Wow. Huh.
Which I don't even know how many shows are in the Arrowverse at this point, but it is kind of impressive that they have sustained. Well, let me think. Let's see. There's Arrow, which ended. Arrow, Flash, Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow, Black Lightning, Batwoman.
Wow.
And Superman. Yeah, so this is the 7th Arrowverse series. Now, this one, what I liked about it is that they put some money into it. I guess Stargirl is kind of Arrowverse adjacent, so this technically could be number 8. But anyway,
you like that, yeah.
So this one, my understanding is that there's because of HBO Max and this being something that they can put on there, it's kind of like a co-funded thing. So
it'll exist in both spaces?
That's my understanding.
Okay.
In some capacity, maybe after a brief window. Mm-hmm. I don't know exactly, but regardless, they put money into it. I mean, I don't know if you've seen any of the Arrowverse shows, even on a sort of like just channel surf across them.
Actually, not. I've seen bits.
You've seen enough, I'm guessing, to be like, well, you kind of got to squint your eyes a little bit to get past the shot in Vancouver-ness of it all,
Right? Sure. Which I'm sure if you get used to it, then it's like, all right, you calibrate and then you just enjoy
right.
it.
And what you said, I think is very apt. Yeah, I mean, those shows, I'm not. It's not a critique. Just I don't watch those shows regularly, so I don't really have I can't say anything beyond aesthetically. There's a little bit of I mean, you got to squint your eyes a little bit, right?
Sure.
This one, it looks like they put a little bit of money into it, which is nice because I feel like if you're going to do a Superman show, it needs to at least be, within spitting distance of what they do in movies.
Sure.
Because it's Superman, right?
Right.
So the premise here is Superman and Lois. They are married. They've been married. They have 14-year-old twins. And, well, this is not a big spoiler, but within the first 5 minutes, Superman's mother passes away.
Oh.
Martha. They did not save Martha on this series.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
And I feel like we're gonna take some shit now because I made that joke.
Wait, we sent that back and forth, right, with Godzilla and King Kong or whatever, and they're like, "Why'd you say Mothra?"
Yeah.
Why'd you say Mothra's name?
And I just want to that has now become a very tired joke, but I just want to say I was way out on Front Street with that joke.
I kind of remember that actually.
I'm very proud of that. I got there first, or early. So anyway, Clark has he decides to move back to his family farm, and he's got these 2 kids, at least one of whom might potentially be developing superpowers of their own. And so that's the premise of the show. It's like he's Superman.
It's kind of family.
That's what I'm saying. It's like Superman is trying to be a dad, and what does that mean? His kids find out he's Superman. They haven't known this whole time.
Sounds like something I might enjoy.
Well, this is the thing, right? Because I got to see the first couple of episodes, and my whole thing was we've seen so many variations of the Superman story. I'm all about doing something a little different with it.
Yeah.
Right? And when you think about it, we've never on screen gotten Superman and Lois as parents.
Right.
And to me, there's something very it feels like, I mean, this is not a sequel to Smallville or Lois and Clark. It's not connected to those shows, but it almost feels like these reboot shows that we get nowadays. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. No, totally.
It's like Superman Fuller House. Here they are, this many years later, and there's they got kids now, and how are they dealing? You know what I mean?
Right.
And it mainly because we know these characters so well, right? We know the iconography of these characters, that you can just put him into a brand new status quo and you're pretty much like on board with it.
Right.
You know, and Superman is played by Tyler Hoechlin, who's very good, and Lois is played by Elizabeth Tulloch, who actually surprised me because I haven't seen her a ton in these Arrow shows, but I really like the chemistry she has with Tyler Hoechlin. Tyler Hoechlin is doing something a little different from Henry Cavill, who we don't even know if he's like Superman anymore. Like, I don't know what's going on there, right? As of now, he's a Superman of record on the big screen, right? But I like that Warner Brothers kind of being like, all right, well, let's just do different versions.
Yeah.
Rather than being like, no, they can only do Superman on the big screen, or they can only do Batman on the big screen. Instead, they're just like, you know what, just catch as catch can.
Yeah.
And that allows for something interesting. And the other thing, just going back to what I said before about the show starting with Martha Kent passing away. And you get this moment where Clark is grieving for his mom. And it occurred to me, I mean, I've seen every version of the Superman story. We've never gotten that.
I never thought about it, but you're right.
Right? We've gotten plenty of instances of Jonathan Kent dying. There have been plenty of times where, oh, by the way, Martha is dead. But we've never gotten, how does Clark react when he loses his mother?
Right.
And that gives us just kind of a nice, I mean, it's a small thing, but it's a nice moment and a recognition of how she is just as important in his life, you know?
Right.
So very pleasantly surprised me. You know, not to say I went in not expecting anything, but I was like, oh, okay, this is different. I like this, you know?
I'll check that out. That sounds like something I would enjoy.
They start on, I think it's the 23rd with a, feature length premiere. And I would recommend it. I think some good stuff happening there.
Cool. And along those lines, that was pretty cool this week when they announced that they were going to make a comic book series out of Batman 89.
Yeah.
Continuing that, and then the Superman 78.
Yeah.
Right? I was like, hey, I'd gobble that up.
I mean, especially Batman 89. Like Superman 78, I'm down with. But weirdly, the 89 Batman idea is almost more intriguing because I've always said that feels like a universe that got cut off at its knees, you know? We never got that third Michael Keaton Batman, you know?
Yep, we got that tease at the end that Catwoman's still around, and I obviously it's anyone who listens to the show knows how much those movies mean to us, and they came at such a pivotal time when we were young. So anything else that extends the story in that universe, I am all about. Yeah,
these are going to be 2 comic series that are put out digital first, and then they will eventually be collected into physical books or what have you. But continuing on, I'm actually curious about. I mean, I know the Batman series picks up after Batman Returns, and the Superman book I haven't read up. Like, is it after Superman 4? Is it like?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I'm curious about that. But I'm down. I am down, and I think I'm glad that Warner Brothers is doing stuff like this, where they're just leaning into, hey, we got all this content out there anyway. Let's just have it all count.
Yeah, isn't that funny? I mean, you just see, it was like a big deal just to have a Batman movie, right? That wasn't campy in '89, and then things sort of change, and then we can have what if Batman was deadly serious, with Christopher Nolan? What if we what if Spider-Man was in the same movie as Iron Man? And what it's just like you keep pushing it, and what people are willing to accept, and that everybody wants it, and it's just like, yeah, we get it. Like, we can go back to '89 just for like a comic book series. Like, why not? People will buy it.
You know what I'm curious about, Brian? We know they're bringing back Keaton,
right,
as for Batman for this Flash movie. Like, are these comics meant to exist within the backstory of that character?
Interesting. So if there's some sort of major event, say in here, maybe he'll have a big scar from it in the Flash movie. Like, oh yeah, touch it, I'll never forget that day.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah,
I'm curious about that. But that's Superman and Lois. Like I said, a definite thumbs up for me. And then speaking of, this is an actual reboot series that I also just watched actually before I got on with you. It is Punky Brewster.
Oh, right.
This is a new series on Peacock.
Peacock.
Bringing back Soleil Moonfry as Punky Brewster, whatever it is, like 35 years later, still wearing, two-tone sneakers and still, doing what Punky Brewster does, I guess.
Yeah.
This is an interesting one because I feel like Punky Brewster is one of these shows that people of our vintage, it's at least in our awareness.
Yeah.
Right? And to whatever extent you watched it, it's a thing you watched 35 years ago.
Yeah, I am obviously aware of it, but I don't know that I've seen one complete episode. So I don't even know what this would be. Whereas Saved by the Bell, which
right.
I am versed in, and you bring it back, I immediately recognize it. And it's not like even just the characters. I'd like to see the characters, but I just love the spirit of that show.
Yes.
And the tone of that show. And so I personally don't know what this is. Like, I don't know what a remake would be like or what it's trying to reconjure.
It's really, like, I had to go in with, like, okay, well, what am I expecting from this?
Right. Right.
Because I'm watching it, for the paper I have to do a review. And I'm like, all right, well, I kind of have to put myself back in the headspace of that original show.
Right.
And so having watched the first 2 episodes, I will say it is like that original show.
Oh, okay.
So if that's a show that you liked and you really liked that character and her world, I expect you'll like this.
Right.
It is not the Saved by the Bell reboot, which is sort of stepping outside itself to wink at the universe. It's not doing that. But then I'm like, I don't think you want it to do that, you know?
Right, right.
It feels like this is a show that moms will watch with their kids.
Sure.
Or moms or dads. I mean, I don't want, but it feels like Punky Brewster was a character that girls would have grown up looking up to or relating to. And now it's her at the stage of her life where she's a divorced mom. Mm-hmm. So it's weird. I'm talking around myself here.
Wait, what do you mean?
I'm sounding like I'm down on the show, and I'm really not. I think it's very.
I thought you were like withholding a secret. I'm like, is she like have an alien living with her too?
Like maybe. No, I'm. It's good at what it is.
Sure.
But what it is won't be for everybody. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's going to appeal to people who have feelings for this universe.
Yes. Like, if you liked the original show growing up, I suspect this is like right in your alley. And Soleil Moonfry is very, very charming. Mm-hmm. She's very sweet. And Freddie Prinze Jr., by the way, plays her like on again, off again love interest. Oh. And yeah, it's nice to see him doing something,
Yeah.
He looks noticeably older from like, the She's All That era, which, I mean, you're like, how can he look so much older? And you're like, oh yeah, that's 20, 3 years ago or whatever that was, right?
Right.
But I think it's in the vein of that original show, and if you liked that, you'll like this. I will say this, as somebody who did watch the original TV show and also watched the animated Saturday morning cartoon series Punky Brewster.
I was going to say, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I want to know if her weird magic elf friend or whatever from that show will show up here, because I need to know if that cartoon show is Punky canon.
Yeah. There'll be like a little lump of dirt in the backyard where she buried him, and they'll be like, "Well, what's under there?" It's like, "Don't dig it up."
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
We can't let the moon be exposed to its fur.
The other thing I'll say is, this is a show I have no idea if it would work on a network, right? In that I don't know if there's a big enough audience for it, But what a perfect godsend for these streaming services.
It's kind of, yeah. I lament how many there are. It's very frustrating, but at the same time, it allows more niche stuff to exist.
That's kind of my point, right? Like CBS All Access, which is about to become Paramount Plus, they got like Star Trek shows just dropping out of the sky, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, isn't that, like, if you're a fan, what an embarrassment of riches. Mm-hmm. People be complaining like, oh, there's too much. The fans are, oh, there's too much. I'm like, what's the problem here? Like,
Right. Right.
If you like it, here's the thing. Here's more of the thing you like, and you don't have to watch all of it. Oh, if you like Punky Brewster, there you go. Yeah, here's the thing. Who would have thought? Right? Is it something you've been clamoring for? Maybe not, but it exists.
Yeah. For those that want it, that's pretty cool.
For those that want it, it is there. People complain too much. That's kind of my point. So kind of a thumbs up for Punky Brewster.
Nice. Wait, did you watch it with your family?
I did. Yes.
I was curious what they thought. I mean, I imagine they are not familiar with the character. So, I mean, were they able to, as a new universe for them to dip into for the first time, did it hold their interest?
I mean, it did. It's like the humor is very like Disney Channel sitcom level.
Sure.
So it's like I am objectively not the target audience for this show.
Right.
But with them, I don't know. My wife really liked it, though. I will say that, and she's kind of like you. She knew of Punky Brewster, but she's down with this new version. So there you go. Okay. But let's take a little break. Come back and talk through some listener letters. We are back. We got some listener letters, and Brian, this is from Ori Shadman.
Okay.
Who says, hey, Zachy and Brian, have you ever discussed the fact that the big movies coming out are either superhero or live-action remakes of Disney classics? I don't know, Brian, have we ever... Feels like it's like we discussed that maybe too much. And Ori says, is the movie industry running out of ideas? And I will say yes. But the movie industry has been running out of ideas for several decades now.
That's to try to answer that question with even more nuance. Is the movie industry running out of ideas? I would argue no. However, what I would say is happening is think of like Moneyball, right? Where you're not going by your gut any longer. You're going by like numbers and statistics, and you're trying to use math to figure out things that can't be figured out with math.
Yes.
And so I think people just look at these metrics, and I mean, it's easy to forget, but I mean, the film industry is an industry. It's a business. And these people are making more and more money, and then they don't want to make any less money. So they're like, well, what can we do that will guarantee us to make money? And it's, we talked about this several episodes ago, but and I don't remember what instigated it, but I was thinking like the 90s feels like the last really original era.
Yeah, we got the Peacemaker in the 90s, Brian.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, you could even, I mean, of course there were sequels, and everything, but I mean, you had like Con Air, which is based on nothing. You had The Rock, which is based on nothing, and everybody, still remembers. And like, it's just these, Aaron Brockovich's and the Three Kings. Three Kings was a major Warner Brothers release. That's nuts.
Yeah.
It's
Three Kings also, by the way, first time you and I watched a movie together.
That's true. Yeah. And then along those lines, because I remember that in '99 it gets talked about a lot, but like American Beauty, Fight Club, like all these bonkers movies that I can't even imagine being put out now. But those were the major releases.
But just sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but you use Fight Club as an example. When you think about it, that was a high profile. That was a high profile flop.
Yes, it became a kind of cult classic.
Yeah,
that was a bad example.
But I actually think it's a good example because I think it's sort of like the answers in the question. Because you have a movie like Fight Club that 20th Century Fox puts a lot of muscle into. Obviously, you got David Fincher, you got a big Brad Pitt, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, they're expecting it to play one way, and it doesn't. And so it makes them reticent to take chances like that.
Exactly. I mean, that could be sort of the, one of the straws about to break the camel's back, right? You just have more of those.
Here's the fact, Brian. Sorry, again, I don't mean to cut you off. But
no, please.
Just using Fight Club as an example, I guarantee you, and you correct me if I'm wrong, any given movie studio will gladly take a mega blockbuster that's forgotten in 2 years than a slow burn cult classic.
Absolutely. Even if that means it's going to make them millions and millions and millions throughout its lifetime.
Yes. Absolutely.
They just care about the first weekend.
Exactly.
And, so that sucks.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're out of ideas. I think they have lots of ideas sitting on their shelves, but they're not willing to take the risk.
I mean, to your point, you talk about Con Air. That same summer was Face Off.
Yeah.
Which was, I mean, like or dislike that movie. It's funny. People be passionate about Face Off, and I think it's an okay, mediocre action movie. Like, I think it's fine. But anyway, they just announced a new version of Face Off.
I saw that, yeah.
Right? Which I think Adam Wingard is doing that.
Yeah, the guy who did the Blair Witch sequel.
Yeah. And so I'm like, okay, well, that like a remake of Face Off, what does that look like? But it turns out, no, Brian, it's not a remake. It is a sequel to Face Off, which sounds worse, I think.
Feels a lot of hesitation. Yeah.
Like, I mean, it surprised me, you know?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
But you say, no. This is the long-awaited return of Sean Archer and Castor Troy. And Brian, the fact that I know those names.
I know.
I don't know half of my kids' birthdays, but I know Sean Archer and Castor Troy.
Yeah. But I realized I was naming a bunch of like Bruckheimer-y sort of action films. So, I mean, like the Shawshank Redemption.
Sure.
Pulp Fiction. Just, all these sorts of movies that just probably wouldn't happen now. And it's the superhero things are a guarantee.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess that's the thing. I mean, you can sort of lament that these things are going straight to streaming now, but I'm glad they exist at all.
Yeah, well, I think Ori specifically talks about, the big superhero stuff and the live action remakes of the Disney movies, which I think he's right to be like, God, like, is this it,
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
But look, we've said this before. I mean, we've been doing this show long enough now that we were here like when the live action remake trend started.
Right.
And most of these movies, with a few exceptions, have been very successful. Mm-hmm. It's a pre-sold name that, you get people are going to show up for it because they know the name. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're doing a Lion King prequel.
Right.
So obviously the market exists,
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
The Lion King prequel, I think it's like Mufasa and Scar, like, as kids or something, right? Like, what's the... I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
Scar, my allegiance is to my allegiance is to...
the Republic.
No, to monarchy! It's like the exact opposite.
Yeah. I have the high ground.
Yeah. Yeah. Literally. I wonder what that movie looks like. But, you and I are what we say on the show all the time. We're hoping for the good version of whatever it is.
Yeah. See, that's the thing, too, is it's not like I don't like those films. I do wish that it was just a whole cornucopia of things, including those films. But, and then for an era, I mean, that's sort of the whole peak TV conversation, right? Where it felt like TV was able to do that, and you had your Breaking Bads and your Mad Men's and your Game of Thrones. And...
I think this is something Scorsese was talking about this past week, right? Like how when we're referring to movies or any of this art as content. And that draws to mind sort of the cynicism underlying all of this. And he talked about how, we're trapped in the algorithm.
Right. Yeah.
Because what we see, what we see is entirely determinative based on whatever the algorithm determines you want to see. Mm-hmm. And that's obviously, it keeps us from seeing things that we might otherwise want to check out.
Yeah, and I've said this before, and I just wish I could remember who said this, but it's so spot on when they were saying in 1975, when Jaws was the first blockbuster of all time, what would math tell you should make next? It's like, well, another ocean adventure or another, sea monster movie. Yeah. But the next thing that took, people's imagination by storm was in space with spaceships and Wookiees. And, it's math would not have told you that, but that's what people wanted to be surprised and delighted by. So it's, math is helpful, but you can't argue with guts sometimes.
That's true. Here's another message we got from JMB, who dipped into the archives a little bit. He says, just wanted to say I finished listening to your commentary track on Batman 89, speaking of, we were just talking about that, and I very much enjoyed it and will assuredly listen to other commentaries you guys have done in the very near future. Well, thank you for that, JMB. It was actually a treat to listen to a podcast commentary that wasn't being continuously snarky or dismissive towards Burton's Batman films, to which I feel has become unfortunately all too common these days, as if being negative toward the film is somehow retroactively downplaying its importance in the superhero movie genre. He goes on to say, I actually think the anti-Burton attitude that was noticeably prevalent during the Nolan era has lessened over the years. I agree with that, especially in light of Keaton returning to the role. Again, I enjoyed the commentary. It was easily obvious that you guys are fans of the film and that universe. Looking forward to the Batman Returns commentary whenever you guys get around to it. Thank you. Well, thank you for that, JMB. And we are fans of that film.
Huge. Yeah.
I mean, that's what it comes down to.
I do remember that, though, during the Nolan era, where it was like, yeah, maybe that one wasn't good after all. And I remember thinking, like, what? What's happening?
But you know what's funny,
like,
Brian?
why can't they both exist?
The wheel comes back around, because there's plenty of people who snark on Nolan now.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, when The Batman comes out, assuming it's good, suddenly people are going to realize they hate the Nolan trilogy.
Yeah, right.
All of this has happened before. It'll happen again.
Yeah,
for you and
time.
I mean, seriously, for us, this is our like fifth Batman reboot.
Right.
This is not our first rodeo, you know.
Right.
And you look at the 89 film, and you realize, well, that's going to mean something very specific to people of our vintage, and whether it continues to mean that for new generations, it doesn't matter, because it still means that to me.
Yeah, and you know, to not even limit it just to us, although it was hugely impactful for people our age, but whatever that flavor is going to appeal to, you know, certain groups of people forever. It's always going to be there,
right?
You know, so it's. I actually, it's been on cable a lot recently, and I stopped on it for a little bit, and it's just, I mean, it's kind of a work of art. I've said this before, I think during probably that commentary, but I don't know how I never really noticed. Oh, and Edward Scissorhands was on also.
Okay.
Like Burton he's almost like a painter, right? And I don't even just mean the set design necessarily, but what he does with the camera is so fascinating. He doesn't move it very much. And you don't think about it because he makes these incredibly dynamic compositions.
Yeah.
And I was just really admiring it. I was just thinking, I mean, this movie is just between the music and just visually taking it in, let alone what the story is or anything else. It's just something to behold that I just think is still to be admired.
What I remember of back to 1989 is how when that movie came out, suddenly everyone turned on the Adam West show.
Right.
And that took, I would say, about 10, 15 years before sort of the collective zeitgeist came back around to that show. Mm-hmm. And you go through these cycles enough time. I remember when Batman Forever came out and people broke bad on Tim Burton.
Huh.
And then Batman and Robin came out, people broke bad on Joel Schumacher. Like that honeymoon didn't last very long.
Right.
But
we are Springfield.
I mean,
we're mob. We turn on everything.
It's really like that, right?
We're not to be trusted.
It really is. We're awful. We're generally terrible. But that's
and then we change our minds. Yeah.
Like that on a dime.
Yeah.
And part of this, I think, is just, to me at least, Batman as a character is unlike any other superhero, where you can have just the sheer number of interpretations that are all still Batman.
Right.
And that's kind of a nice thing. Now, the wheel is coming back around, where people are reappraising the 89 movie. Mm-hmm. But people are going to hate it again. This is what happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody needs to just relax. just get a Haagen-Dazs chocolate bar and, I don't know, eat it. I don't know where that went, to be honest. I'm hungry, is what I'm saying.
You know what's funny, by the way? So, obviously, you and I are like freaks for the DeLorean. just we just love how it looks. It makes us happy looking at it. And I saw there was a company that you can rent the DeLorean.
Wow.
And someone who's
this is a replica from the movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say took like a DeLorean and then like screen accurate recreated
Gotcha.
what the Time Machine DeLorean looks like. And my brother, and we're the same way, but my brother even more so than the DeLorean loves the '89 Batmobile.
Okay.
And I saw the same company was renting that out as well. And I know, I was like, whoa. And so I kind of looked into it further, and it was way more money than I was expecting. But I was like, well, someday if we get you and Sean and we get everybody over here, all the families, and chip in, that would be quite a day.
I think we said it on that track that for me, that the Anton Furst Batmobile will always be like my Batmobile.
Ditto.
And this, I mean, these different versions, everyone has theirs, and I see this, with people who have just, I mean, Batman Forever is now 16 years. Like, people love the Tumbler that same way,
right?
The kids who grew up with those films, and that's how it is. To me, that's the continuing appeal of that character, Yeah. So I am very much looking forward to doing our Batman Returns track, which will be next year, the 30th anniversary of that movie. Which will wrap up. That will be the conclusion of those Batman films. We'll have done them all.
Wow.
Crazy, right?
Which, by the way, this is very, very, very specific. Only probably like 3 people listening to this will get this. But I saw that movie at Stratford Square.
Okay.
Mall. And I just saw that mall closed down permanently recently. Are
you serious?
Yeah. Isn't that sad?
That's extremely sad. That's like down the street from where I grew up.
Yep. And then remember those fountains, those tiered waterfall fountains? Yeah. And yeah, this makes me sad.
I used to work at Stratford Square.
Yeah.
My very first job when I was in high school, I worked at Montgomery Ward, which is no longer a thing.
Yeah.
But that was my first experience in retail, and that place was such a this was at the tail end of that store's lifespan, so like nobody would go there, right? So I worked in electronics, and I worked there Tuesday nights from whatever it was, like 5 to 9. And ain't nobody coming into that mall at Tuesday nights, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
I was in electronics, so I would just turn on the TVs and I would watch Dawson's Creek. That's how I got into Dawson's Creek.
Really?
Yeah, just standing there watching TV,
That's amazing.
Yeah. So that's my memory of that show, of that mall. That makes me sad what you just said. Wow.
Me too. I was just thinking it sounds weird, but I would just love to. That is such a memory from my childhood. Mm-hmm. Almost exclusively, that it would almost be like going to Disneyland for me to walk through that mall again.
I'm serious.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah.
I what you say is not terribly surprising, because the last time I was in Chicago, which was, about a year and change ago, a year and a half now, I stopped in there, and it was, you could practically see cobwebs all over the place, I think the era of the mall is rapidly ending,
Yeah.
It used to be a place where you would go to hang out, and I don't know that people hang out anymore. I think that has stopped,
Yeah, my friends and I would just go there and we'd go eat at Arby's and walk around and go to Suncoast Video.
Stratford Square Mall, Brian, I watched Independence Day there.
Yeah.
I watched the Star Wars special editions there.
Yeah.
a lot of like that.
I saw Last Crusade there with my family.
Oh,
I saw
wow.
Ninja Turtles there. Yeah.
But you didn't live near there, though. I mean, you were. Were you always like in the Wheaton area?
I was in the Wheaton area, and that was before Rice Lake Square, where Donata kind of opened up. And so that was the theater then I could ride my bike to. But before that, that was the theater I recall going to, was the Stratford Square Mall.
But even Yorktown, that was kind of close to you, wasn't it?
I don't know why we didn't go to that one as much.
I'm just realizing this is just Zach and Brian talking.
I know. Sorry, guys.
So when you went down Elm Street, what was that?
Yes.
Okay. Anyway, sorry, folks. This is what we do.
Yeah, that's. I was talking about it with my brother, and last night we were actually trying to close our eyes. We're like, okay, can you remember how to get to Stratford? You're like, take right on Naperville, left on Roosevelt. Like,
oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, you're just indulging 2 old men who are.
Yeah, but this was actually how the podcast started. Was us having phone conversations and being like, I think this is a podcast.
This is a show. This is a show.
Actually reverted back to just phone calls.
Real quick, we were talking about doing a Batman Returns commentary. I want to mention this year, coming up in just a couple months, will be the 40th anniversary of Superman 2, which will wrap up our run of those movies.
Wow. Oh, we haven't done that 2?
We have not done 2. We've done 1, 3, and 4. So
wow. Okay,
weirdly,
great.
The second Superman and the second Batman remain outstanding. So
that's funny. All right, cool.
So that one actually I have not seen in a little while. So I don't think you've seen that like in forever.
Yeah, I think the last time I saw it was when the Donner cut came out. So I watched that.
So like 15 years ago.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, okay.
So we're going to revisit that. That'll be fun.
Cool.
All right, moving on. Let's take a short break. We'll come back, talk some trailers. All right, we are back, Brian.
Yep.
And we got some trailers to discuss.
Yeah.
So speaking of the algorithm... These feel like the bozo pewter just punched him right out.
right.
First up, we have Cruella, starring Emma Stone as Cruella de Vil. This is the latest attempt by Disney to kind of maleficentize their back catalog.
Their villains.
Yeah. So let's play some of the audio from this trailer.
From the very beginning, I realized I saw the world differently than everyone else. That didn't sit well with some people. But I wasn't for everyone. I guess they were always scared that I'd be a psycho. But a new day brings new opportunities. And I was ready to make a statement.
All right, so I honestly, the only thing missing from this was Cruella de Vil being like, "Hey, when you introduce me, call me Cruella."
That's pretty good. Yeah.
I'm here, Brian. Here's where my brain stops working. I'm like, Cruella de Vil wants to skin puppies and make clothing out of their fur.
So
that's her deal.
You could make a Joker out of Cruella. However, this is a kids movie.
Yes.
So I'll be straight up honest. When I saw this trailer, I actually was like, "Oh, that looks kind of cool." Like the music, I loved seeing the live action version of her hunched over her steering wheel like she drives in the cartoon. I thought she looked great. But so like aesthetically, I actually did think like, oh, that's kind of cool. But then when I tried to think about what the movie is or like what it could be, like I don't know. So I weirdly seem to be the person who probably had the most positive reaction to it out of anyone on the internet. And also it's coming from Craig Gillespie, who made I, Tonya, which I really liked.
So there's a little bit of like, okay, what does that look like?
There's a little bit of, I like how she looks. I think she looks cool. I like the sort of punk rockish sort of thing going on. And I think there's something that could be there. But I also absolutely recognize what everyone else is saying. And I don't know what this could be.
I'm just like, I'm like, if Disney is at a point where little girls are wanting to dress up like Cruella. Right. To me, you're doing something wrong because, again, I mean, that's almost like a cliche, right? Well, he's a bad guy, but it's not like he ever kicked puppies or anything. That's what you say. Right. Well, no, she wants to murder puppies. That's her whole thing. That's the one thing. Yeah. So how do you make a movie that's like, oh, but actually she has this, tragic backstory? How do you get from there to 101 Dalmatians? So, okay, I'm trying to be even like somewhat vulnerable saying that I thought this was... it makes me think I like the sound of the song, but I'm not so sure about the lyrics. Okay. That's good. That's the best way I can describe, I think, how I felt about this trailer. But I agree with you. I mean,
I didn't. I have to admit, I wish I was this savvy, but was seeing people saying that this is sort of like a Harley Quinn for younger girls. I was like, oh yeah, totally. Like this is a Halloween costume, absolutely.
Which is troubling to me on a number of levels. Primarily because my daughter, who's about to be 4, she loves Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
And I'm slightly horrified by that.
Yeah, because even with that movie being rated R, I mean, like it wasn't just us. I mean, that was like the conversation. Like, why is this movie rated R?
Yes,
but it should kind of be for teenish girls. And but at the same time, I mean, it could be argued that what she deals with and her content, the Joker's relationship, skews a little bit older.
Sure.
However, Cruella does not. So yeah, you do wonder how you're going to make this something that you don't mind your daughter thinking like, I want to be like Cruella.
You're right. You know.
Yeah.
It's very much Maleficent. I had the same reaction to Maleficent, which is like, yeah, but she is the bad guy. Like, she's not sympathetic in Sleeping Beauty.
Right.
I mean, they've turned her into a whole other, like, basically, it's completely different from Sleeping Beauty, that thing. Mm-hmm. So maybe this does the same thing, I guess, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like, the word cruel is in her name.
And devil. That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll see. You know what? And I'll say this too. If the movie ends up being amazing, I will say it, and I will eat crow. Mm. I will not kill puppies, but I will eat crow. If that ends up, I'm ready to be surprised, but I'm skeptical. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. I'm very curious. This is definitely something I will check out.
Yeah, we will be having a conversation about this.
Yeah.
Another output from the algorithm is Mortal Kombat. Let's play some of the audio from this.
Throughout history, different cultures all over the world reference a great tournament of champions. That dragon marking? I think it's an invitation to fight for something known. As Mortal Kombat.
All right, so Brian, what is your personal history with Mortal Kombat, the game? And the phenomenon, I guess.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think we were kind of the perfect age for this, where with all those video game documentaries I've been watching, hearing sort of what the actual thinking was behind this game, where it was Nintendo versus Sega and just trying to continually capture kids' attentions, right? So you had Mario and you had all these sort of safe games. You had Street Fighter, which was violent but cartoonish. Yeah. So it's like, no. What do we do that is absolutely different, and that, video games have skewed for kids? How do we get teens and college students to play games? Let's make something absolutely insane. And that's what Mortal Kombat was, where it was, to my knowledge, the first, at least mainstream, brutally violent, sadistic game. And what was interesting was when those came out, it was an arcade game, but when it came to Nintendo or Sega is like, we'll do the unrated version with all the fatalities, people ripping each other's heads off and stuff. Yep. Which is so funny because now you're like, video games. But like, at the time, that was insane. Right? But Super Nintendo was like, no, we're not going to do that. Right. And from what I've learned in these documentaries, that actually significantly hurt Nintendo, their sales and whatnot. But also Sega, if they're to be believed, the up and ups released the game and we're like, what have we done? So, who knows? But so anyway, yeah, this was a huge cultural thing for us in our early teens. Is that your memory?
That's very much my memory. Yeah, I did not have a video game system in the 90s, so it was one of those things where if I went to somebody's house and they had a Genesis, if anybody I knew had a Genesis, they had Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was when I would play it. But then, of course, there was the movie, which came out in 95, I think it was. And what I remember most about that is the disappointment from my friends in junior high, or I guess by then it was high school, being like, why isn't this movie rated R?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? And the thing is that movie just recently I was like, oh, maybe I'll watch this with the boys. And like scene 1 is this dude getting his back broken.
Oh, really? I've never seen it, actually.
I mean, it's I don't know what I'm trying to think of what I think of Mortal Kombat the movie. I think I have a lot of fond memories of that film. No,
I was going to say,
let me rephrase.
What did
I don't have a
hold on. Think, and what did
I don't have a lot of fond memories of that film, in that I don't have a lot of memories. But what I recall is I enjoyed it at the time.
Yeah. Okay.
That's because I don't want to go out of my way to say I have a huge amount of nostalgic affinity, because I don't. But it's, for being PG-13, I think it's still fairly violent for that time,
Right.
So I've always felt like adjacent to the Mortal Kombat generation. Like, I've always had the awareness of it, but I just wasn't plugged into it because I just wasn't a video game person in that same way.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I see all the people who are super excited for this movie, and I watched the trailer. I watched the Red Band trailer, which, of course, because what other version can you watch? And it looks like the movie that all them kids back then, 26 years ago wanted. Yep. And so I'm like, well, I'm assuming they'll enjoy it.
I think we had the same reaction. It was Sub-Zero. I mean, I do actually remember their names. Yeah. But like Sub-Zero is like freezing some dude's arm, and he starts bleeding, and he freezes his blood and stabs him with his own blood. I was like, oh, well, like the people who love Mortal Kombat are going to love this.
Isn't that like something that like kids at a recess would say?
Yeah, it's like making up a Mortal Kombat movie.
Yeah. So,
it probably was made by those kids, huh?
One imagines, right?
Yeah.
And so it's totally like, I didn't watch the trailer and have a negative reaction. I was just like, I'm assuming the fans who've been wanting this will enjoy it. That was my.
We are becoming like a hive mind. I had the same feeling where I literally was like, I don't think this is for me. Like, I don't think I'm going to get much out of this. However, this looks like someone really cared about this.
Yeah.
And the fans are going to eat this up.
Yes.
Yeah.
One thing I will say about the original Mortal Kombat, which, by the way, we've gotten a couple requests actually to do a commentary track for this new one comes out, and I'm not opposed to that, because that movie is short, and that's now the only that's the only requirement anymore.
Criteria,
right?
Yeah.
I check the runtime first before I commit. But
90 minutes, we start licking our lips.
Exactly. We're like, okay, we can do this. That movie starred in the lead role Robin Shou as Liu Kang, and it didn't occur to me back then, but it occurs to me now that was kind of a big deal.
Right.
To have an Asian lead. Like, they didn't make Johnny Cage the main character. Right, as opposed to like Street Fighter, where Guile is like a fourth string character, and suddenly he's like the guy. Right. And again, that didn't occur to me in the 90s, but rewatching it, I'm like, this is all about Liu Kang. I think that's kind of cool. So
that's cool.
The sequel, I will say this, Mortal Kombat, the first one was like, okay, Paul Anderson did that. The second one, he did not come back to direct. That's called Mortal Kombat Annihilation, and that is probably one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah, I went to the theater to see that, and it was unbearably bad.
Interesting. Yeah, so, I don't know why I didn't see them, but I didn't.
Now, that said, here's another tangent. As much as I'm praising the film for casting Robin Shou in the lead, the Raiden, the Chinese thunder god, they cast Christophe Lambert.
Oh, I remember that. Actually, I can picture it. Yeah.
Which, like, guys, come on. Like, of all the characters.
Right. Oh, man.
Anyway, all right. So we got those. And Mortal Kombat, by the way, is coming. That's going to be another one of these day and date.
Max.
Yeah.
April 16th, but it's only there for 31 days.
There you go. So
these HBO Max movies, like, I mean, Wonder Woman's gone. Like, you have to watch them right away.
That's right. So once you start watching, you'd better finish it.
Nice.
Thank you very much. All right. Let's take another break. Come back. Talk some headlines. All right, we are back, and just to start things off, I wanted to mention a passing of note. This is Lynn Stallmaster, who was a casting director of some significance. He played a key role in casting, many of like the most important films in our lifetimes. For example, he Superman, like he was the guy who like discovered Christopher Reeve. Right, but he had a role in First Blood, and just one of these legendary casting directors who anytime you watch a documentary, like looking back at a classic documentary, the making of, he shows up. Jeremiah Johnson, he was involved in the original Thomas Crown Affair, Sleeper, the Woody Allen movie, Rollerball, the original one, New York, New York. Greatest story ever told. Going way back, right? Yeah. And the only reason I bring this up, above and beyond obviously the big role that he played, but like we don't talk about casting directors very much, right? Oh, The Untouchables also actually. Speaking of that, but how important is that to be the person that makes these determinations about who should be seen for a role?
Yeah, I don't remember why, but I was thinking about this very thing, oddly, the other day, where you can have a good script, you can have a good director, you can have, whatever, but it's like good script's pretty paramount, but a good cast. Yeah. Right? That sort of lightning in a bottle where you think of like Back to the Future and you're like, who else could be Biff?
Yeah, exactly.
It's an art.
Because it's not
putting
merely
these things together.
It's not merely finding the one person, it's finding the people that go well together.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So Lynn Stallmaster, the first time a casting director got a separate credit in the opening titles was with him, with the Thomas Crown Affair.
Huh.
And so over the course of his career, something like 180 movies had that credit, casting by Lynn Stallmaster.
Wow.
So randomly, like a week ago Friday, and this is just the thought that pops into my head. I'm like, I wonder if Lynn Stallmaster is still alive. And I Google him, and he is. I was like, okay, cool. And then I kid you not, Brian, the next day, Saturday, I wake up and I check the news, and it says casting director Lynn Stallmaster has died.
Wow.
Figure that one out.
It'd be nice if he could know, that people were still, still looking him up, interested and invested in him.
So my takeaway is don't have me Google your name, because I don't know. Yeah, right. I've tapped into something deep and dark, and I don't know. I'm kind of terrified. But
that sounds like a '90s horror movie, like some computer where you're like,
it's like The Ring.
Yeah. You like Google or I don't know.
You call it search.
Yes.
All right. It stars Sarah Michelle Gellar. I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say like Eddie Furlong.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Lynn Stallmaster gone at age 93. So a life well lived.
Yeah.
Moving on. Joss Whedon, Brian, is the worst.
What's going on with
Jeez.
I was gonna be like, what's going on with Joss Whedon?
Yeah. Apparently, everyone he's ever worked with has broken bad on him in a big bad way. Now, this piggybacks on the conversation we were having, I think, in our last episode, where somebody wrote in to ask like what we think about the whole Ray Fisher Justice League situation, and it's kind of fascinating to me that. And I don't know if this speaks to your experience, but I feel like there have been stories about Joss Whedon being kind of an asshole that have bubbled like under the surface for a long time.
Right.
And specifically what happened in the last week is that Charisma Carpenter, who appeared first on Buffy the Vampire Slayer and then on Angel, put out a statement essentially saying, yeah, he treated me like absolute shit. Mm-hmm. And he insulted my weight. He, did this, that, and the other thing. And she's like, I've held this in for 20 years. Mm-hmm. At which point, it feels like the dam broke.
Yeah, yeah.
Because then Sarah Michelle Gellar says, look, I love the character Buffy. I don't want to be associated with Joss Whedon. Michelle Trachtenberg, who was like a teenager when she was on Buffy,
that was a weird one.
That was a weird. She basically said that they had a rule that Joss could not be alone with her.
Yeah, like something happened.
Yes.
And moving forward, he could not be alone in a room with her.
That's right. And then you had Amber Benson, you had Emma Caulfield. As of just yesterday, from what I see, David Boreanaz has put out a statement in support of these actors. Nicholas Brendan, who was on that show. So basically, almost everyone who was a regular or semi-regular on the show has made some statement or another, basically saying, yeah, I stand with the people who are saying this, right? And the thought I have is, first of all, I'm glad if there's shenanigans afoot, then yes, it should all be out there, because it shouldn't be cocooned, right?
Right.
But the question I have is, like, why is this stuff allowed to percolate for so long, right? Like, my point is, obviously, because from what I've read of a lot of the male actors, they're like, I didn't have any firsthand experience with this, right? And it feels like a lot of the women on these sets had something like an unspoken or spoken understanding between them, like, hey, be careful around so and so, but like they didn't feel comfortable, escalating it. Right. To which I say, like, what the hell,
It's one of those things where I feel like it's, I don't know, what do you call it? Not like a stereotype, but it's just sort of this unspoken thing where it's like you just go up the chain and you risk your own well-being speaking out against probably people who are protected by some sort of buddy-buddy system. Like there's buddy-buddy jerks making stuff and there's buddy-buddy jerks at the top, right? So it's to your own, risk to like try to be the squeaky wheel. And then we had, the Time's Up stuff that happened a couple years back, which was super healthy and incredible because then people finally could speak out and people could be called out for what they had done and whatnot. But it just makes you really sad. I mean, going all the way back to, you think about like Judy Garland on The Wizard of Oz and the way she was treated. I mean, It's just this disgusting, inhumane sort of, quote in quotes, the way it is, and it's just, it's insidious, and it's been this way for far too long. And thankfully, with Time's Up and Me Too, people are feeling empowered to speak out against it, and hopefully that started a crack, and that crack only gets bigger and bigger, and this whole nastiness comes crumbling down. I'm glad that Charisma Carpenter. It sounds like she's still suffering from this, like PTSD, and it's just for her to finally speak out about it. She obviously felt compelled, and I'm glad she was able to, and I'm glad that she got the support that she did for doing that.
I mean, it like I said, these are stories that have been sort of out in the ether for a while, right? Like specifically with Charisma Carpenter, I read her statement, and I read it, and I was like, I know this is not the first time I've heard of this specific thing from her.
Yeah, I kind of remember that also.
Right? So it was, even if she herself didn't say it, it was at least out there. Right? And when it comes to somebody like Joss Whedon, I mean, who knows? We don't even know the specific details above being verbally abusive. There's obviously something else going on there. But like, he obviously felt comfortable enough in whatever amount of power he had accrued to be crude.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's kind of, it's disheartening because, I mean, he's someone who had, I mean, let's be honest, he had been given the label of a feminist.
Yeah.
And
Can you imagine these people that knew better?
That's what I'm saying.
All these years watching him get lauded like that.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And what somebody else pointed out to me is what you realize is what he was doing wasn't so much feminism, but speaking to his own specific kind of fetish, which is like waifish girls like beating up dudes, like, and there's something very cynical when you look at a pattern, of the work. Dollhouse is about like sex dolls.
Huh, really?
Yeah, the show starring Eliza Dushku.
Right. Yeah, kind of vague memory.
One of the main characters on Firefly is a prostitute, and the whole thing is just everyone like shitting on her for
Right.
being a prostitute, you know? Like,
Right.
so these weird connective threads, you know? In both Avengers Age of Ultron and Justice League, he has the same gag, which is one of the male characters being tossed forward and landing between the breasts of the female character.
Right. Right.
And
Which
it's different.
Gal Gadot famously was like, no. And so that's her stunt double in the movie doing that gag.
See, I actually didn't know that. That's
Oh, yeah. I've read, she's spoken, that's the only thing she's sort of spoken out about specifically.
really.
Yeah.
So that's, I mean, whatever needs to happen, I hope it happens, and I hope everyone involved who's suffered, you know, gets some degree of solace, you know. But what irks me constantly is how long this stuff was tolerated.
I know.
And, you know, to me, that's evidence of what feels like a very broken system.
Yeah, and I don't want to say that these things are equatable because they're not. But, like, I just remember even, like, coming up in the early 2000s, it's like your superiors could be jerks, and it was like, quote-unquote, paying your dues.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just that. I mean, obviously, people experienced way worse things than that.
Yeah.
However, it's all sort of under this umbrella of, like, well, that's just, you're kind of lucky to be here, you know? And I remember even thinking at the time, like, no. Like, I mean, I'll work hard,
Right.
and I will work hard to move forward, but just thinking about the people that suffered far more terrible things under that sort of stupid mentality, I'm happy that the dam has finally burst, because it's absolutely people should work hard and earn things, but just this sort of letting people just do whatever they want because they're the boss.
Yeah.
Like, we're done with that. You
Yeah.
know? Like,
Yeah.
it's time for that to end.
Yeah. So on that note, let's talk about Brett Ratner.
Yeah.
Speaking of time to end. Now, Brett Ratner famously got Me Too'd
Yeah.
like 4 years ago.
Which, by the way, I think that he was one of those ones too, where it was like, yeah, no, we know this.
Yes.
You know, he had that rep for a very long time, but somehow it was just like, that's Brett Ratner.
You know, everything I hear about Brett Ratner, and have heard since long before this all came out, I was like, this guy's just a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that wasn't a secret.
Yeah.
But he was under that protection of just one of those, that's how it is.
Which think about that for a second. If people circle their wagons around like mediocrity,
Yeah.
right? I mean, like, I'm just saying, he's, you know, you have people defending Roman Polanski still,
Right.
which is, I don't agree with that. But at the very least, you say, well, this is the guy who made Chinatown, and people are sort of contorting themselves because they
Right.
revere that film or whatever, right?
Yeah.
This is the guy who made, you know, Tower Heist. Right?
Yeah.
You know, so anyway, he got Me Too'd 4 years ago. Famously, speaking of Gal Gadot, she was like, because his you know, Rat Pack, you know, it was his bundling company, was involved with Wonder Woman. She's like, I'm not doing the second one if he's involved. And, you know, good for her, she exerted her power to stop that. And so you kind of assume, all right, well, that's all she wrote for Brett Ratner, but now he is mounting a comeback.
Right.
And I'm kind of like, okay, so then it's what? So it's like 3.5 years is the
Right.
the
They feel
layover.
like, I'll just dip out of the public eye for a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
So apparently he is working he's working on a couple things. One of which is a movie about the GameStop fiasco
Sure.
from a couple weeks ago. So that
Who isn't? I am.
I was about to say
We all are.
One thing
Yeah.
we know is that's the one not to watch.
Yeah.
But also he's attached to a Milli Vanilli film. Because he owns the life rights to
Oh, that's too bad.
to the person who's still alive, Morvan, I think is his name. And so this is a film he intends to direct. Now, there's something so weirdly meta about Ratner making the Milli Vanilli movie. You know, like I feel like a shrink could have a field day with that.
Right.
But I mean, genuinely, like, what I don't understand is that any studio would feel comfortable going back into business with this guy.
Oh, absolutely. I don't know who would. I mean, he can say he's developing these things, and he does own the rights. That's one thing, but I don't know who would, you know. I don't know who would take him on.
It says here, this is at Deadline, Millennium Media is teaming up with his Rat Pack Entertainment on the project and is launching sales ahead of the upcoming virtual EFM. So in other words, they're going to fund it and then sell it to distributors, I'm guessing.
Right.
The last movie he directed, by the way, was 2014.
What was that?
It was Hercules with Dwayne Johnson.
Huh. I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's not missing anything. But it sure feels like this movie is going to get made. And that just baffles me,
And I just wonder if people will allow it to, or if this is just going to be met with immediate resistance.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes me feel bad for the Milli Vanilli guy.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's kind of an interesting story. I would like to see that movie. We've said, they're definitely into our era of history.
Of biopics,
the OJ stuff and the Monica Lewinsky thing that's coming up and the
Britney Spears documentary that's big on Hulu right now.
Right. And even I, Tanya, which I just referenced. I dig it because I was there and I kind of enjoy seeing a new perspective. I would like to see a Milli Vanilli movie, honestly, but not from him.
Yeah. So I'm actually curious what happens with that. I also wonder if this is like a trial balloon on his part to see how people react.
Yeah.
But I already see people online who are like, "Oh, when is Kevin Spacey going to make his comeback?" Like genuinely. And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe you shouldn't get to make a comeback when you've like molested children.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Like, shouldn't that is that too much to ask? Like.
Right.
It's weird, It's weird that we're having that conversation.
I know.
Oh.
It's weird with actors, too, because it's like they become these other people to you.
Yeah.
I'm sure some people are like, well, no, but that's the guy from, the President Show on Netflix. I can't think of the name of. Which I actually like. Oh, House of Cards. And Usual Suspects and da-da-da-da-da. Like, I wonder if there's some kind of weird disconnect that goes on occasionally.
But that show, they just straight up poochied him between seasons.
Oh, yeah, they absolutely did, yeah.
Right? Yeah. So again, it's weird how that happens, how people compartmentalize abusive people. Mm-hmm. And we're just around the corner from Louis C.K. making his comeback bid,
Sure.
I don't know that that's happening, but let's face it, I know it's happening.
Yeah. Well, we've read, right? He's shown up in comedy clubs and sort of done surprise sets, and it's been met with mixed reactions. Yeah. So I'm sure that's him dipping his toe a little bit there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So Hollywood is full of shitty people. That's the thesis up to this point.
Yeah, but hopefully it's being flushed.
That's good. It's changing gears a little bit. I wanted to mention this. Zack Snyder is out. He's got a bunch of stuff coming out, Zack Snyder. He's been a busy guy. We have, obviously, the Justice League extended version. The Zack Snyder cut's coming next month.
It's a month away, yeah.
It's kind of crazy. Like, we'll be talking about that very shortly. And then he also has Army of the Dead, which is his big zombie epic. Which I'm actually looking forward to.
Yeah. Wait, what's the deal with that? Is that next, like this year, HBO Max kind of a thing?
It's I want to say Netflix.
Okay.
I want to say Netflix, but it is this year.
Okay.
It'll be within a few months of the Justice League coming out. Let me just look that up actually on Wikipedia. It says May of this year on Netflix.
Yeah. Nice.
So he's talking it up, of course, within the context of that. The critical reaction to Batman vs. Superman has come up. Now, Batman vs. Superman famously was sort of lambasted by critics. Mm-hmm. But it has, of course, become a beloved cult artifact among a very dedicated set in the years since then. Mm-hmm. But he actually talked about the negative reviews, which I thought was kind of interesting. He says, we've had our share of unkind press. Some of it, though, it's interesting because I think Batman vs. Superman is the perfect example. It's too dark. Too dark compared to what? I think that some of the reactions were, it's not funny enough. It's not the movie I expected it to be. And you're saying, is that the movie's fault, or is that your fault for having a preconceived notion of what it should be? It was kind of interesting to read things like that. Like, he goes on, right? He talks about the critique of the Martha scene, right? Mm-hmm. He says, clearly I'm a fan of him and very interested in how Martha, that concept is central to the film. I mean, it's 100% the linchpin that holds the entire movie together. I think it's indicative of the way that Batman vs. Superman was received, that its central tenet was sort of belittled and made fun of.
It's actually weird to hear him say that.
Yeah, I personally think it is like this beautiful and incredible symmetrical idea that it completely finishes it as a concept. It all is 100% with intent and intention to be all the images that you see as far as their inspiration and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Here's the problem. This is one of those things where I'm like, I see what you're doing, dude. I see where you're coming from. The idea is Batman is viewing Superman as this alien, imposing force, but he has a mother just like me. He's a person just like me. I need to put my rage and my vengeance behind me. I get it. I think that's actually quite poignant. But when you have enough people being like, that is clunky in execution.
Right.
What we said at the time is Superman saying save Martha doesn't necessarily make sense in that that's not how people talk.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
You would say, my mother is dying, so help my mother, right?
And then you could even say, like, her name is Martha Kent,
right?
Or something.
Something like that, right? So the issue, like, it's one of those things where it's like, I get where you're coming from, but I'm also like, you have to acknowledge that there might have been a better way to get there.
Yeah. I remember us saying that from the jump, that's actually a pretty cool idea. It was just the execution.
The execution, right? So it's one of these things where everyone has dug up, like they've staked out their terrain, where it's either the dumbest thing ever or it's the most brilliant thing ever.
Right.
And I'm looking at it like, well, let's like meet in the middle here and acknowledge like it's not the dumbest thing ever, but it could have gotten there in a less clunky way, you know?
Yeah.
I think it feels to me like Zack Snyder is more enamored of the idea that Batman's mom and Superman's mom have the same name, in the sense that he wants to turn that into a dramatic linchpin, whereas it feels to me more like a thing where you're like, oh no, that was my mother's name too, and it's like a nice moment. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Like, it's almost more poignant if you have Bruce Wayne at some point later on, after he saved her, or whatever, he rescues her. Mm-hmm. And he's like, what's your name? She says, Martha Kent. He says, that was my mother's name too. Something like that.
Too. Totally.
Right?
Yeah.
And so to me, I'm like, well, that's just indicative of Snyder's, he has like this Goddard Dammering approach where everything has to be the biggest effing deal. Mm-hmm. And that to me is like, I'm seriously, I know people who are listening to this who are passionate fans of that movie. And so I want to be very clear. This is not me dogging on that movie. I'm just, I've actually come to admire many aspects of it. I want to say that. Mm-hmm. I have to say this constantly, Brian. I live a life of just, I feel like a targeted man.
You take your bindle and your army jacket and head down the road and with your message. Yeah.
But it is interesting to me that, I mean, here we are 5 years later and people are still talking about it. So that's something.
Yeah.
I see online where so much of the conversation is either it's the absolute best or it's the absolute worst. And I'm just firmly in the middle.
Yeah.
All right, come on, everybody. Let's just get along. All right, let's take one last break, and then we'll talk some Star Wars news on the flip side of this.
Sounds good.
And we are back, and I'm Brian. I'm hearing some music I haven't heard in a while.
Whoa, you're right.
Wow, we have right. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
And the news this week, oh boy, it is exciting.
Yeah.
Gina Carano is no longer going to play Cara Dune.
Yeah.
You might say, Brian, she's Cara Dunn. Thank you very much.
Very nice. Is that a hashtag?
It should be if it's not, right?
Yeah.
So tell me about this.
Well, this all stems from insensitive and downright offensive social media posts she's made for the past several months. First, I believe she was making light of the pronouns people choose to use.
Yes.
Which Pedro Pascal apparently talked to her about explaining why that could be, seen as hurtful. And she seemed to back up from that a bit. And she went on to make fun of Californians for wearing masks during the pandemic, which, as minor as that sounds compared to some of the other things, as a person in the public eye, was kind of a role model. It's pretty irresponsible. But then the final straw was she recently shared a post on TikTok comparing the current political divide in the U.S. to the treatment of Jewish people in Nazi Germany. Yeah. Which is, of course, absolutely irresponsible, hurtful, and insane. Mm-hmm. Then Lucasfilm released a statement saying, this quote, Gina Carano is not currently employed by Lucasfilm, and there are no plans for her to be in the future. Nevertheless, her social media posts denigrating people based on their cultural and religious identities are abhorrent and unacceptable.
That's right. So they didn't so much fire her as say we're not planning to rehire her.
Yeah.
Right. And so right away, people, honestly, I think you got like your Twitter stands who are not indicative of like the world at large. Because I don't think most people care about this.
What do you mean?
Like, I don't think your average Mandalorian watcher is going to be like, well, where's Gina Carano?
Oh, I see.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And then you got like the people who dig in who are like, oh, Disney just shot themselves in the foot.
Right.
And I'm like, if you think Disney is going to go bankrupt because like a third string character played by a fourth string actor isn't showing up on this show anymore, like, I don't know what kind of world you're living in. Right?
Right.
I mean, like, this is the thing, right? People are like, oh, First Amendment. Her First Amendment rights are being violated. I'm like, she ain't in jail.
Right.
Like, the First Amendment doesn't guarantee you a role in Star Wars. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Freedom of speech does not equal freedom from consequences.
Exactly.
And the fact that big Investor Day presentation that they did last November or whenever it was, where they were, no, I think it was December, where they were announcing all the big Star Wars projects. Apparently, she was supposed to be a big part of this Rangers of the New Republic show.
Yeah.
And they were going to announce as much, and then they held off because of what they felt at the time was already, questionable online behavior. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking to myself, look, if you're guaranteed a gig in one of the most high-profile franchises of all time, mm-hmm. on one of the most popular shows right now, and into a surefire hit, and all you have to do is just don't like make fun of trans people. Like, why is that hard?
I know. I mean, can you imagine if actors throughout history had this sort of loudspeaker?
Yep. Yeah, seriously. That's the interesting thing. I mean, think about it. Sean Connery gave an interview in like 1970 something where he's like, I think it's okay to hit your wife.
Right.
And to this, I mean, rightly, I'm not defending them, I'm saying that. But to this day, like, that was something that hung over his head. Mm-hmm. Right? Imagine Sean Connery having Twitter. Imagine John Wayne having Twitter.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it would look like James Woods' Twitter feed or some of these people,
Right.
Right? And yeah, it's weird. I mean, because the social media, we keep coming back to this, but it's like, yeah, I mean, there are obviously so many positive aspects, but every dumb thought that goes through your head doesn't need to be immortalized.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
It's weird to me because I look at what Gina Carano did and I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, that's what happens. Mm-hmm. I'm not celebrating you losing your job, but I'm also not like rolling a tear.
Yeah. Well, I think it's also not in her defense at all, but like if she's upset about election results, well, okay. Like you can say that, you know what I mean? But then when you draw out these like wild comparisons that are just offensive and inaccurate.
Yeah. I
mean, now you're treading into like dangerous stuff.
Yeah. It's it's one of these things where it is exhausting how everything has to become a thing. Mm-hmm. But I'm also like, societally, we're sort of, based on our interactions, we learn how to act around people. Mm-hmm. And you're not being censored when culturally and societally you're told, hey, don't be racist.
Right.
Don't be sexist. Right? That's just, in polite company, you don't do that. So the idea that people say, oh, I'm not allowed to use the N-word. Why are you putting your boot on my neck? Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, no, that's a shitty thing to do. You shouldn't do that because it's shitty and you don't want to be a shitty person. Right? So the idea that has come to mean, oh, society is censoring me.
Right.
It's like, well, no, there's certain social expectations. And the fact that in the social media age, here's the thing, whatever stupid thought passes through your head, you can put it out there. Mm-hmm. And you're going to, statistical noise, especially when you have thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of followers, statistical noise means you're going to get at least a couple people hitting like. Mm-hmm. Right? And those likes translate to affirmation.
Right.
What I'm doing is okay.
Right.
I'm making fun of pronouns and, 20 people hit like, so that means I'm on safe ground. Mm-hmm. That's a good thing to do.
Right.
And it's kind of like, well, maybe just don't do that. Like if it's upsetting to people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would you want to upset anybody anyway?
Why would you go out of your way to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Cara Dune, R.I.P. She died on the way back to her home planet.
Right.
That's what we know. They said there was briefly word that they will recast the role. I don't think they're going to do that.
Nah.
I think she will just never be seen nor heard from again, and nobody's going to care. Also interesting is Hasbro has said they are no longer making Cara Dune action figures.
Right.
Which all that means is that the existing Cara Dune action figures are going to become insanely expensive.
I thought about that, actually. Yeah, I wondered if, eBay,
Oh, yeah.
whether or not there actually is a market for that and it matters. At least in this moment, I can see people trying to inflate the price.
I'm going to eBay right now and I'm going to see. I punched in, here we go. Cara Dune, MOC. Let's see. We got $80, $75.
All right.
These are figures that normally retail for about $20. Let's see, what are the other ones here? MIB. Here we go. So this is the 6-inch figure, $127.
Whoa.
Yeah. So.
But who's buying?
Well,
you can say it's. Hey, this thing doesn't exist anymore. $200.
Well, and the other thing is none of those dollars are going in Gina Carano's pocket.
Yeah.
So there is that. She has already lined up her next gig. She's going to be in a film co-produced by Ben Shapiro. Who is a loudmouth idiot who, he's one of these talking heads. You see him on Fox News and stuff. She will be co-starring with Dean Cain before you know it. That much we can say with certainty. So there we go. The Gina Carano is Gina Gano, but
cranking out the hits.
I know. I got more. You want puns? I got puns. But the Mandalorian will be back, so shed no tears for that show. It'll do fine. It will do fine. And by the way, a year from now, ain't nobody gonna care about Cara Dune. I mean, I'm just not being on that show is what I mean. I think we've covered a lot of ground this episode. What do you think?
Man, yeah.
So I am ready to wrap this one up. We've gotten multiple inquiries about our Tremors audio commentary.
Yeah.
So that is just in the last 5 days, I've had 3 people ask. So when is it coming? It is coming soon. That is next out the chute.
Cool.
So Brian's like, oh, okay, that is news to me. But
no, I'm ready. I'm prepared.
You revisited this. I actually need to. So
yeah.
I need to rewatch it. But we'll be doing that next. In the meantime, Brian, anything you want to hype up?
Yeah, Puppy Dog Pals. Still going. We got episodes for days on Disney Junior, and Disney Plus.
There we go. And as for me, you can find me at my website, Zackie'sCorner.com. That's ZAKIS Corner, although you're more likely to see me engage on Twitter at Zackie's Corner. Also, if you go to the San Francisco Chronicle, got some cool stuff there. I have my review of Superman and Lois. I have my review of Punky Brewster, and a very cool feature that I worked on where I look at the different incarnations of Superman and Lois over the years and sort of tracking the history of how those characters play off each other. That was a lot of fun to write, and it was one of those things, Brian, where I finished it, I hit send, and I said, I'm getting paid for that.
Yeah, it's a great feeling.
Kind of nice. So that's what we have going on there. If you want to send us your questions or comments, please email us at moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. You can also hit like on our Facebook page, facebook.com/moviefilmpodcast, and message us there. As always, please go to iTunes and leave a review, leave a star rating. Like I said, every little bit helps, and we'd like to get some reviews on the board for 2021. So if you can make time for that, that would be fantastic. On behalf of my partner Brian Hall, my name is Zaki Hassan. This has been Movie Film 218. We'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody.
Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast. Movie Film Podcast, enjoy the show. Zachy and Brian are talking about movies. Movie Film Podcast on the radio.